If you have been paying close attention to the leaderboards week after week, you can feel an undeniable tension building inside the ropes. We are witnessing something historic right now, and it goes far beyond who is hoisting a trophy on Sunday afternoon. The PGA Tour is quietly, methodically splitting into two completely different leagues right under our noses. On one side, we have the final brutal confirmation of the field for the Arnold Palmer Invitational, a tournament that has suddenly become one of the most exclusive and stressful weeks on the entire calendar. The frantic, desperate way the final spots were claimed tells us exactly how cutthroat the competition has become. But at the exact same time, behind closed corporate doors in Florida, a much larger, more dangerous conversation is taking place. Executives and legendary players are actively drafting a master plan that will completely detonate the traditional structure of professional golf. We are talking about billions of dollars in television revenue, the extinction of the middle-class professional golfer, and a brand new corporate hierarchy. Welcome to Golf Backstage. Today, we are pulling the curtain all the way back to expose the ruthless new reality of the PGA Tour. The cutthroat math of Bay Hill. To understand the sheer panic gripping the locker rooms right now, you have to look directly at the math for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Bay Hill is the third signature event of the season, and it represents the new, unforgiving blueprint of professional golf. The days of massive sprawling fields, where a player could comfortably coast to a middle-of-the-pack paycheck, are officially dead. Only 72 men are allowed to step onto the grass at Bay Hill. Every single spot in that lineup is worth an absolute fortune in guaranteed money and vital FedExCup points. Because the field is so violently restricted, the margins for error have completely vanished. A single missed putt in January can literally cost a player their entire season's momentum by March. The Tour created a system designed to manufacture desperation, and it is working flawlessly. The final, agonizing spots for this tournament were only secured after the final putt dropped at the Cognizant Classic, forcing players into a mental pressure cooker where their entire livelihood hinged on a single weekend. And for a select few, that pressure turned into pure gold. The golden tickets. The Tour executives knew they couldn't just lock the gates and throw away the key. They had to leave a sliver of hope for the guys grinding at the bottom. That hope comes in the form of two highly stressful qualification pathways, the Aon Next 10 and the Aon Swing 5. Let's break down the Next 10. This brutal category rewards the 10 players who have accumulated the most FedExCup points this season, who are not already exempt into the massive events. It is the Tour's way of saying that if you catch fire early in the year, you will be rewarded with a seat at the billionaires' table. This specific group includes established grinders like Minwoo Lee, Adam Scott, and Sahith Theegala. But the absolute story of the week is Nico Echevarria. He walked into the Cognizant Classic flying completely under the radar and delivered one of the most shocking, life-altering victories of the entire season. That single win didn't just earn him a piece of hardware. It acted as a golden ticket, violently launching him straight into the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Right alongside him was Austin Smotherman, who secured his spot by faulting tooth and nail for a tie for second place. For guys like Echevarria and Smotherman, getting into Bay Hill isn't just a bonus. It is a monumental financial windfall that alters the trajectory of their careers. The 5-week gauntlet. But earning your way in through the Aon Swing 5 is an entirely different kind of torture. This pathway doesn't just reward a single hot weekend. It demands absolute, grueling consistency across a brutal 5-week stretch of golf. We are talking about surviving the Sony Open, the American Express, the Farmers Insurance Open, the chaos of the Phoenix Open, and the Cognizant Classic. The 5 men who survived this gauntlet, Nikolai Højgaard, Patrick Rogers, Taylor Moore, Andrew Putnam, and Keith Mitchell, essentially had to play flawless, exhausting golf for a month straight. They couldn't take a week off to rest their bodies or reset their minds. Because taking a week off means surrendering points to the guy directly behind you. There are no shortcuts and no corporate favors in the Swing 5. It is a pure, unadulterated meritocracy where you either stack points or you stay home. However, that beautiful concept of pure meritocracy comes to a screeching halt when you look at how the final 4 spots in the tournament were actually awarded. The politics of the exemption. Professional golf is, and always has been, a television product. And television products require massive, recognizable stars to keep the sponsors happy. That is the exact reason why 4 highly coveted sponsor exemptions were handed out at Bay Hill. The lucky recipients included Jordan Spieth, Billy Horschel, Max Greiseman, and University of Texas sophomore Daniel Bennett. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Whenever a player like Jordan Spieth is handed a free pass into a $20 million signature event, the guys who spent 5 weeks grinding their bones to dust in the Swing 5 roll their eyes. Spieth is undeniably one of the biggest fan favorites in the history of the sport, and his presence instantly elevates the television ratings and the buzz around the property. Billy Horschel's deep ties to Florida golf make him a logical corporate choice for Bay Hill, but handing out golden tickets based on popularity and political connections actively contradicts the tour's entire narrative that these events are earned, not given. It is a glaring double standard that quietly infuriates the rank-and-file membership. And when you look at the names who were actively pushed out to make room for these exemptions, the tension makes perfect sense. The casualties of the signature era. When you strictly cap a field at 72 players and hand out exemptions to the popular kids, legitimate talent gets left out in the cold. As the final qualification math settled, several massive names realized they were officially on the outside looking in. Players like Hao Tong Lee, Stefan Jaeger, Kevin Roy, and most shockingly Tony Finau were effectively boxed out of the tournament. Think about the gravity of that for a second. Tony Finau is a proven winner, a Ryder Cup staple, and one of the most talented ball strikers on the planet. Yet, under this ruthless new architecture, even a resume like his isn't enough to guarantee a tee time. Missing a signature event isn't just about missing a trophy hunt. It is about missing out on guaranteed FedExCup points, which aggressively damages your chances of qualifying for the Tour Championship at the end of the year. The compounding financial damage of missing just one of these events can cost a player millions of dollars in future earnings. The margins are incredibly razor-thin, and the anxiety in the locker room is palpable. But the terrifying truth is that this 72-man bloodbath is just a dress rehearsal for what is coming next. The secret Florida mastermind. While the players were fighting for their competitive lives at the Cognizant Classic, a deeply secretive and infinitely more important meeting was taking place in Palm Beach Gardens. The newly formed Future Competition Committee, chaired by none other than Tiger Woods, gathered behind closed doors to decide the ultimate fate of the sport. But the man truly steering the ship is the tour's new CEO, Brian Rowlap. If you don't know who Brian Rowlap is, you need to pay very close attention. Rowlap is not a country club traditionalist. He is a cutthroat sports business executive who spent decades building the corporate media empire of the National Football League. He views professional golf entirely through the lens of media rights, broadcast value, and maximum return on investment. According to deep industry insiders, Rowlap is preparing to present a massive structural overhaul of the PGA Tour next month at the Players' Championship. And his vision is guaranteed to make a lot of traditionalists incredibly uncomfortable. The two-tiered empire. For decades, the PGA Tour has aggressively sold the romantic illusion that every single member is equal. They wanted fans to believe that the guy ranked 150th in the world had the exact same standing as the guy ranked number 1. Brian Rowlap knows that is a complete, unprofitable lie. In the ruthless modern sports economy, there is a massive hierarchy, and Rowlap is preparing to formally weaponize it. The challenge he faces is that the PGA Tour is essentially trying to sell two completely different products simultaneously. One product is the absolute premium entertainment, featuring Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Xander Schauffele, the superstars who actually move the needle, sell the advertising space, and drive global television rights. The second product is the working class tour, featuring the guys grinding out cuts at the secondary events just to keep their tour cards. Rolap's master plan is to officially separate these two worlds. He wants to build a concentrated elite schedule centered entirely around the bankable stars, and relegate the rest of the tournaments into a secondary developmental tier. If this proposed promotion and relegation system actually becomes reality, it is going to ignite a massive civil war within the golf ecosystem. Creating an official minor league out of legacy tournaments means absolutely gutting the traditions of the sport. We are hearing strong whispers that Rolap wants to completely eliminate the 70-player no-cut format, forcing the elite players to actually earn their weekend television time. Even more aggressively, there are heavy discussions about completely abolishing sponsor exemptions into the marquee events. In a pure Rolap-designed meritocracy, your popularity and your Q rating will not save you. Only your scorecard will. But the collateral damage of this shift will be catastrophic for the secondary markets. How do you convince a title sponsor to pay millions of dollars to host a tournament when the tour officially tells them they are a Tier 2 event? How do legacy golf courses and local charities survive when the superstars are contractually shielded from ever playing their venues? The broadcast networks, who already have billions locked into agreements through 2030, are going to demand massive returns if the product is fundamentally altered.